Peace and love. A lot of us take on these titles, right? And we don't be knowing nothing about the job. Let's be honest. Like, I have heard so many people come to me with the conversation of, just basically saying, like, I used to be a follower of God or a believer of God and I left. And you be like, okay, and they want to tell you why. So they'll say I left because the church was treating me bad. I didn't find it there, or I found holes in the Bible. And once you start, you know, hearing that, you're like, okay. But the person would admit, not only by lifestyle, but through their words, they'll admit they never stop. They never stop fornicating. They never gave up their sexual desires, pleasures. They never fast, and they never heard from God. So you're like, okay, cool. And then when you have to deal and dissect what they're saying, you're like, basically, well, where was you looking for God at in the church members? Like, was you looking to worship the people? Was you looking to worship the book? Because what you said, the little bit that you had, that you said you understood, you did not want to discipline your flesh and say, I'm going to stop doing the things that the God I'm following for the moment is telling me to do. So I'm not going to be engaging in sexual sin. I'm not going to be out here making impure marriages all over the place. I am looking to be more obedient, and I'm going to learn how to take righteous correction. So what we failed to do is to see God for ourselves. That's the problem. Like, you run to a church hoping that people is going to be God to you, and they're not. They're people. No matter where you go in life, you're going to meet people that will treat you wrong, that will rob you, that will lie to you, that will steal from you, and that will even sleep with you in the sanctuary. And that's all over the place, right? But that's not every place. So if you went and you wanted God through people, and you were looking for God through people instead of pursuing a relationship with God for yourself, this is what you're going to get. If you were reading a book and you say, reading the Bible and says, it's holes in it, right? I can't get with it because it's holes in it. But you never, while you were reading it, right, in these years or months, or however long you was in there, you never applied the things that you said that you believed, then yeah, you are the hole. You created the hole. Because what was your intentions on coming and say, yeah, you adopted the title, you took a title and said, yes, I'm a Christian, I'm a God believer, and what I'm going to do is, like, you go out and you go to a church and you're so happy, you're excited, and supposedly, but you're not going to apply the things that you already know, like abstaining from, again, sexual pleasures and desires, not making impure marriages all over the place, not smoking, not drinking, not arguing and fighting, like, stuff, the simple things, you never had intentions on changing, So yeah, of course, you didn't apply those things, but you wanted to understand deeper mysteries. And if you read the book, it tells you about that. It also speaks about people that come, right, that say, Lord, Lord, and their heart is far from him. You didn't come with your heart. You came with some other motive and intentions, and it wasn't to receive correction or obedience or any type of knowledge about life. It was to just wear a title. So when people come to me and they want to have this conversation, and I find out that while they were saying they was like in God for all these years, or that they tried this and they tried that, but they actually didn't do anything, and once you say you never heard from God, that's it. I never heard from God. God never spoke to me. I never had a dream or revelation. I never heard nothing from God. It was like, so how was you a follower That meant you didn't have a relationship. That's like saying I'm married to somebody that I don't even know. I don't know this person. I never saw this person. I never even heard from them. But that's my spouse. It's delusional. And another thing is, before you go out and start arguments with people in debates, you have to know what you're talking about. A lot of stuff is recycled information. So because you heard somebody else place it in such a way, you go repeat it like a parrot to somebody else, and they're like, every wisdom-filled Christ follower understands that debating and arguing or even talking to a person that do not know what they're talking about is so foolish on your behalf. I would never argue anybody about my eyes being brown. I would never. Why? Because I know they're brown. Or I would never argue that I seen God, because I know I have heard and seen God. Or I would never argue about a revelation that I had, because I watched the revelation come true. And not only that, I fast sometime, or I put myself in position with God, like I have a relationship with God. He speaks to me, like not on some spooky stuff, but on some, I'm coming to you because I want to inform something to you. Inform you about something, or I want to inquire about something. So I ask him, I pray to him, and he will answer me. That type of relationship. I wouldn't argue that with anybody. I'm just saying, y'all, I'm gonna tell you something. Stop debating, stop arguing, stop talking about things that you don't know, that you never did, because you adopted the title. Because taking the title on something and going to somebody to actually do something, it makes you seem very foolish. And it's ignorant. It's very ignorant. And some people think that it gives them license to be disrespectful. They will come and tell your children bad things, as if your children does not see God for themselves. And that's why it's important as believers that you teach your children, and that you make sure that your children do not go out of sight around people that has a disdain for God. It's a lot of people walking around here that hates God. It bothers them that you speak about God. It bothers them when they come to your house and they see prayers on your wall, or you're doing certain things. It bothers them. And know who they are. Because these are the same people that will try to talk to children. And you're like, why do you believe that you should talk to my children about anything when you don't even know what you're talking about yourself? You make sure, parents, that your children are witnessing you be believers in Christ. Like witness the works of God through you. The power of prayer. You know how many dreams and revelations the Lord had gave me about my children friends? And I'll go to them like, listen, I'm going to tell you something. The Lord warned me about this, that, and the third. And then, give it a few months, boom. Or the fact that God will go to the children himself and speak to them and tell them, I didn't have to play with cards. I didn't have to play with no darn sage. I ain't had to go get no bones or whatever people be doing. I ain't had to do no weird behind spooky rituals to know. God will come and tell me. When you come to a living God, he won't require you to play with things of the earth just to get an answer from him. And a lot of times you ain't got to fast to get certain answers. You can just, Lord, he'll talk to you. He'll tell you. And that's why I said I didn't want no God where I got to play with paper, cardboard, cards for it to predict the future. Or go to somebody else, sit at their table and tap energy and all. I don't got time for that. God speak about those things though too. It seems like those things get more respect than serving a living God. If I tell you that I fell asleep and had a vision, or if I tell you that the Lord got my attention in ways he did and I didn't have to do anything to get it, that don't get respect. But if I told you that I was out here casting spells and I'm doing this and doing that, guess what? Everybody is just fascinated with that stuff till you start understanding what you're really playing with. Anywho, good day.